Yeah, on the middle of a random stage. No intro.
Press A to play.
You know what? Here, Frake, why don't you talk about this game real quick and explain what it is?
If you're gonna play, I can talk. That makes sense to me. I honestly don't have that much. I actually saw this on an episode of My Life in Gaming recently.
Okay.
And it was just basically a random game they picked up. I think it's, I think it was mostly developed by one person,
Oh, wow.
as far as I know. And it just came out of nowhere. Like, this got released like 3 months ago or something. And it was only, I think, 6 or 7 euros.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that was like just the retail price starting from day one. And it's gotten a lot of positive response because it's just a really tight, old school 32-bit inspired platformer. And I mean, just look at it.
Yeah, I mean, the controls are super tight. It's ridiculously
yeah.
fun to move around. I hadn't even heard of this game until a few minutes ago, but I already love it.
Well, that's the thing. Like, if I hadn't seen it on the episode of My Life in Gaming, then I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have found out about it up until this point, because I don't remember seeing it on YouTube or like Nintendo sites or anywhere else really. It's but it's a hidden gem for sure.
It really is. Yeah, indie developers are doing a lot of really interesting things nowadays. I think there's a lot of nostalgia, but like with modern elements, almost like a refining or a remix of nostalgia. It's
Oh
kinda
yeah,
cool.
like the amount of like 32-bit inspired horror games as well the last couple of years.
Oh, that's true. That's very true.
Like a lot of Silent Hill and Resident Evil inspired stuff, which it does look really cool. And especially when it comes to horror, I have to say that the 32-bit like graphical style just really works. 'Cause there's something
yeah.
off about it. It has like more of an analog.
Like an uncanny valley sort of situation.
Yeah, and it's I think that as soon as you get to, well, like for example, like the PS2, Xbox, GameCube generation is just a bit too muddy, and after that it basically gets too sharp. And with the 32-bit consoles, you have this weird. It just.
It's like enough to feed your imagination, but
Yeah.
not so much to make it look silly.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's a
It
really
doesn't
good
look
point.
bad. Like I would wager, like most PS2 horror games do at this point. I'm gonna be, yeah. I think that's
What
not
do you do?
unfair.
Yeah, probably.
The controls look so tight though.
Yeah.
I'm watching it. It looks so sharp.
It really is. Like, it feels fantastic.
I futzed around a bit with the controls because you can adjust the sensitivity and everything. So if you feel like the camera or the turning corners could be a bit smoother or a bit more tight, you can actually just change that in the settings.
I like that. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I like it as it is, actually. I think it's pretty cool. Oh, whoops. I keep forgetting it's the other confirm button.
Yeah. You've been playing too much on your PlayStation or Xbox, man.
Yep.
Showing your true colors.
Sorry. I do love the Switch, I just don't game much anymore. Well, not
Are
on the
you
Switch, at
collecting
least.
paper cranes?
Yep.
Yeah. Why would you not?
Right.
They're there for the taking.
You need 1,000 of them to make a wish, Andrew.
I suppose that is true.
And they're sparkly. Like, how could you not go for sparkly
Right, I
paper
mean-
cranes?
They're shiny. Are you not a magpie at heart like the rest of the humans?
I'm definitely attracted to shiny objects. This is true. I just never thought a paper crane would be so shiny. I've learned something today.
Yeah, you know, it's true. I don't know what kind of paper they make them out of, but apparently they have extra shiny paper
I mean, it works.
in this land. But it does work. Yeah, no, they're actually pretty gorgeous. I do like it. I mean, I guess you have to have a collectible, right? So it may as well
Yeah.
be a paper crane. It looks pretty gorgeous.
And there's the purple diamond crystal thingies you can smash, so that's fun.
That is true. I wanted to ask, the scan lines, are those...
Yeah, you can turn them on or off, yeah.
No, that's fair, but like, is it like built with those in mind?
I honestly can't remember if they were on when I booted it up. I know I've experimented with having the scan lines there and not. I don't know
like
what the developer has as like the default mode.
I like it. It feels very nostalgic.
Yeah.
It definitely reminds me of earlier days.
And they're subtle enough, and you have like the actual like CRT effect with like the darkened corners and everything. Just
Okay, now I'm really screwing up. Yeah, no, it's very true. It looks a lot like an old school TV. I didn't even process the darkened corners until you mentioned
Yeah.
it, and now I'm like, yeah, that's why it looks right.
It just feels
That's why
good.
it looks correct. Yeah.
No, it's been fun trying out a lot of these smaller games on Switch lately. I also got I think it's called The Last Campfire from that game company. So the people behind Journey.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was thinking about that game because I really like that game company.
Yeah, and Last Campfire is it was like €3 or something on sale. So I haven't gotten
Nice.
around to it yet, but
Yeah, let me know if it's an emotional experience.
oh yeah.
What is the name of this game, by the way? Because we kind of jumped straight into it.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
It's Lunistice.
Lunistice.
Yeah, so Lunistice. Lunistice? Lunistice makes most sense to me, but yeah, it's a rather peculiar name actually.
I dig it.
Right,
It reminds
like
me a bit of Crash Bandicoot in a way.
Yeah, it's like Crash Bandicoot, but just more open, just more routes and actual 3D camera control.
Yeah, Frake described it at one point as like the Super Mario Bowser levels, but more open.
Yeah,
And I like that description too, actually.
I love those as well.
Oh god,
Especially the soundtracks. Like those had the best tracks of the entire game.
they really did. That music was intense. When you were young, that music was scary.
Oh yeah.
Music gave me some like actual panic. Even the Super Nintendo era, you wouldn't think so, but like the Super Nintendo Bowser's Castle music, especially
yeah.
when you hear the like speed up noise.
Oh god, that still gives me like
drives
a heart attack.
Exactly, like it still gives me anxiety to this day.
I used to have to turn it off, like the sound.
You know what? That's fair.
Because in old school Super Mario Brothers, like the first one, there were a bunch of levels where you inevitably did not have enough time to finish it.
Ooh yeah.
So it was all about staying cool under pressure or whatever. I had to turn the volume off. Couldn't do it.
Oh man.
And I
Fair.
tried playing them again as an adult. Like decades later, I had to do the same thing. I had to turn the volume off. I just couldn't do it.
I remember that from Super Mario Land 3, which is, Wario Land, the first Wario Land actually, where you had that one level where you're basically continuously being chased by, like, pretty much, I think it was either like acid or like a tsunami or something, but it was just the entire level was just you having to keep on running to not be just devoured by this huge amount of acid or water, and that was just, as a kid, so goddamn frightening.
That's fair. Yeah, those chase levels were the worst,
Yeah.
weren't they?
Rayman had them as well, I believe, a couple of them.
The only chase level I liked was in Mega Man, actually back in the day. It was
Ooh.
Mega Man X4 had chase levels where you got to be on like a crazy bike. And that always felt kind of fun. But that's because you were on a badass bike and you were destroying things and popping wheelies and whatever else.
So you had enough fun distractions, basically, to not have to
Exactly.
worry too much.
As opposed to Crash Bandicoot, where I was convinced I was about to lose every second until
Oh,
it was
yeah.
over. I kind of like how the game teaches you how to play it by playing, right? So it puts
Yeah.
enemies and cranes in locations that are kind of optimal for how to make that like jump or that move. So you kind of like naturally learn how to do it, which is kind of cool. I
Yeah,
think.
some old school game design, no tutorial, no hand-holding, just...
That's the way it should be.
Yeah,
Over
just-
tutorializing murders games, man. You know, it should be like that. It should be like the game should teach you how to play it
Yeah.
by playing it. You know, like old school Mega Man style. Have you ever seen like Ego Raptor's like sequelitis rant on Mega Man? That's speech basically.
I hate it when you can't turn them off.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like you want
right?
to start a new game or like you got a new game plus thing going on and you got to sit through all of it again.
Okay, I didn't know that was there.
Especially if it's a replay and you just perfectly know how to play that game, and it still goes out of its way to just assault you with like all these pop-up messages and just, God, no.
It reminds me of Windows updates.
I mean, I've actually been playing Final Fantasy 13 the last week.
How'd you like it?
Well, I got it like in its release week back in the day, so 2010, I think March 2010.
Is that the one that's like Final Hallway?
Yeah,
Okay.
which is also what Final Fantasy X was, for example. And that's the whole thing. It was just
It's
more.
true, yeah.
It was more apparent because there was a mini-map on screen and everything all the time. But the funny thing is that, one, the linearity is, in my eyes, a huge bonus in 2023, because with the ridiculous amount of games that are just sort of
Open world sandboxes that are
and
full
just-
of nothing.
just open world because they have to be, and just filled with all these useless collectibles and uninspired side quests. Like, it actually feels refreshing to have a game where you just know, when I boot it up, I don't have to think about what I was doing. I can just continue going from A to B to C.
Oh yeah.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
And it looks amazing on the Xbox Series X, because it's basically upscaled to like just barely native 4K, which is ridiculous. It looks as sharp as it's gonna get. And they actually replaced the bad Xbox 360 FMVs with the higher resolution ones. So right now it's a locked 30 frames. It's got almost 4K native resolution, great looking cutscenes. So that's actually a great way to play the game these days.
That's pretty
What's
awesome.
an FMV?
Full motion video. So an actual CGI rendered video. So not an in-game cutscene or something. Yeah.
Yeah, you know how like all the old Final Fantasies, like 7 and 8 had those, like, and 9 too, had like those ridiculous cutscenes.
I remember when those things first came out, we were all blown away by
yeah.
the graphics. Like,
Oh yeah, absolutely. See,
yeah, okay.
that is a good point. My issue with FF13 when I played it was not even the linearity, it was the fact that I felt like auto battle was the most efficient way to get through anything.
In the beginning,
And I got a
yeah.
little tired of it.
It's that's one of the issues. I'd say that the combat is actually really fun and interesting, and it does get better, but that means that I think like at least maybe the first 10 hours or so are just not all that interesting combat wise. And what made me think of it, actually, because we were talking about tutorials and everything, is that the way they handle the plot is just so bizarre, where you have a ton of exposition in like the first 30-40 minutes, and in the first couple of hours you keep getting these sort of info logs about the characters and locations and enemies and like the lore, but it's just overkill. You just have this ridiculous amount of information that, honestly, I mean, I'm not sure if you can remember, but like the first 30 minutes of the game are like all about the Fal'Cie and the Lassie and Pulse and
Yeah, I
Cocoon
remember
and
like
the
they
Sanctum.
just throw like all kinds of things
Yeah.
at you, including lots of strange words.
Yeah.
And like set up the entire plot. And I'm like, have you heard of Show Don't Tell? Is that like?
And also,
thing where you come
I'm gonna be that guy. I just really don't like Nomura, like most of the stuff he does, Tetsuya Nomura, and his character design is just horrendous again. Like everybody's got
well,
15 belts and
Well, yeah. I mean, like, if you ever want to have some fun, watch the video where like actual fashion designers rate Final Fantasy outfits. It is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Like some people were like, I don't know what they're doing. You know how Chanel says always look in the mirror and take one thing off? They should take 10 things off.
yeah.
You know, and, like I think
They're
at one
always all
point,
belts.
someone looked
It's
that
a
up.
Nomura thing. That's his design thing. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
there's just lots and lots of belts, unnecessary
straps.
zippers, random straps.
accessories everywhere.
yeah, like-
skirts, a lot of skirts.
I think my favorite is someone looked at Lightning and thought that thing on her leg is cool. I like her. Like, what is it? A leg bag? Do people wear leg bags now?
I do like the design of Zash. He actually still looks pretty cool. He's a pretty grounded design.
Who's Zash?
He's
forgot, it's a little bit.
actually he has the green military outfit, afro hairdo.
Right, yeah.
He's like a father. He has the tiny chocobo with him all the time.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah. There's still some. I mean, Square Enix and several other Japanese developers do have a history with kind of going for sort of outdated stereotypes when it comes to black representation in their games.
Oh man.
Zash is a step up, I'd say, from Barrett. But there's still a couple of things where, like,
He's not Mr.
yeah.
T, but they could still use more black
Yeah.
people on their team.
Yeah, but I like his design. I think his voice actor does a really good job. Actually, I really like. He's one of the best performances, I'd say, in the game. Troy Baker as Hope is just as Snow is just. It's a lot.
Is that the really whiny kid?
No, that's Hope.
Oh, I hate that
yeah.
guy.
Oh god, no, he's horrifying.
He like ruined most of the story scenes
Yeah.
for me because all I could think was
Him and
stop
Vanille.
talking. Yeah,
I
just
hate
please,
Vanille
for the
with a
love of
passion.
God, stop. Yeah.
And also the names. I mean, they're called Snow, Hope, Vanille, Lightning. It's
But like Final Fantasy has a way of really picking firecrackers for names. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like Cloud.
I have a feeling that, like, if I recall correctly, I think Lightning had a better story in Japanese, like there was a reason for it, but then in English they just translated it directly and then it made no
man.
sense. Like,
But the name, you know, I mean, all right, is it different in Japanese or does Cloud sound equally bizarre?
you know,
I think Cloud is
don't
actually
know.
Kuraru, yeah.
Yeah, maybe he's just Cloud in Japanese.
Yeah,
which
I
would
think
make
it's
sense.
Kuraru. I think it's with the Romanji, yeah.
Sometimes that happens too. Sometimes they just think English names are cool and they throw them in there, like Guts. But like,
I'd say I think like most well-known Japanese game franchises do have like an anglicized name basically. Like Resident Evil doesn't have like a Japanese name. It's like Biohazard, so Biohazardu. Like it's yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They just like for example, like a lot of Dutch games don't have Dutch titles. Like we're not gonna call Horizon Zero Dawn Horizon. Then some random like Horizon, een nieuw begin. Like we're not gonna call it that. We're just gonna call it Horizon Zero Dawn. Yeah. And the Japanese do the same. Like most of their game franchises do have like Mega Man isn't called Mega Man, but it is called Rakuman.
yeah, he's just,
Rockman. Like
Because if you don't get the joke yet, his assistant was named Roll, so
yeah.
they are Rock and Roll.
and you've got bass, and you've got like all these characters with like music references. Yeah, and Cloud is just called Kuraudu Suturaifu. Yeah,
Yeah, there you go. He's just Cloud Strife.
Cloud
Just-
Strife, Kuraudu Straifu.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's wild that we just accepted that as kids, right? We're like, yeah, this dude's name is
Cloud.
Cloud. It's
Yeah,
fine.
just-
Yeah.
Obviously.
not?
What else is it gonna be?
Right. I mean, can you imagine if his name was like, you know, Stratus or like,
I mean, if you're gonna go for a badass name, like Cloud is the way to go.
like Fern Strife is coming. You better be careful.
Fern.
You don't like Fern?
I like Fern.
You know, I
Fern
like
would be
that
a great
Squall was
name.
like an upgrade on Cloud. You know, they were like, okay, we named the last one Cloud. What did we name this one? Hurricane. No, wait.
Isn't the next protagonist called Squall?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
The greatest Final Fantasy name in the history of all Final Fantasy
Squall.
names.
Squall.
Who is like, we need something, guys. We need something that sounds really heroic. Give me your best shot. And somebody was like Squall, and everybody else was like, yup, yeah, that one.
It
gangster.
sounds like a toddler learning French.
It sounds like
Squall?
someone not quite
Squall?
remembering what squab is.
To me, it sounds like the desperate noise somebody makes where they're being like forcefully tickled or something. You know?
I can see that.
There you go. See,
Very
What
specific,
a
but-
terrifying thing to be named after. It's like Hiccup from How to Train Your Dragon. They named this one that noise you make when you get tickled funny.
And he was the badass of the series or something.
He was, yeah. Squall was the serious badass, the brooding badass. You know what the hilarious thing is? His personality was different in Japanese.
Okay.
Where like apparently there were just a lot of lines they didn't bother translating. They just turned them into ellipses in English. So we think Squall is all quiet and broody, and like in Japanese he actually like talks and says
But
things.
that's like, especially during the PlayStation 1 era, like a huge memory limit like problem, right? As
Yeah.
in,
They literally didn't
basically
have enough
couldn't
characters to
expand
put
the
the
text
dialogue
boxes.
there. Yeah.
So, and given, you know, the difference between our alphabet and, you know, Japanese wave writing, they just had to do with way less dialogue and everything.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, just way less information.
This is common, yeah.
Yeah.
So like as a result of that, yeah, Squall became the broody badass when like I think he was actually pretty talkative in Japanese.
But his
Look
name
at
was
that.
Squall.
But his name was still Squall, yes.
There's no getting around that.
But in Japanese, no
Some
one
bells.
knew that it was silly.
Did they?
No, I'm joking.
I hope. Oh, okay.
Because it's an English name, so he was hoping to hide.
You know what? I love how the names in the Mario universe, there's like no consistency there whatsoever, and still it works. Like it's Japanese and English and Italian and just gibberish all thrown together. Like you have Mario and Luigi,
I think Luigi.
but you also have Princess Peach Toadstool, but then you also have Yoshi and Donkey Kong and Lakitu.
To be
Bowser.
fair,
It's all over the place.
I think Princess Peach was an American thing. I think she was just Toadstool originally. Although why exactly? Well, Luigi actually I think made sense. Did you hear the story? Where like it sounds like Ruigi, which I think means like copy or something. So I thought it was funny that like
because he was just a color inversion in the beginning.
yeah, they were like it's an Italian name that can also mean like clone. So haha.
That's
Green
funny.
Mario. Or Ouija, as I like to call
Yeah,
him.
of course.
Luigi.
When you really know Luigi, you have to call him Luigi.
Luigi.
That's how it works.
Call him
Luigi,
Luigi.
that's it.
But Waluigi does not get a Waluigi. He's just Waluigi because he's
Yeah.
a jerk and no one knows him that well.
Okay.
He doesn't like people to
Okay,
get close. He
he
holds
has
people at
hashtag
arm's length.
justice
has
for
no friends.
Waluigi. Thank you very much.
He holds people at arm's length. It's his own fault. You know, like,
Je
he just-
suis Waluigi. Come on. That's my boy.
Waluigi
That's my
is
boy right there. That's my lanky boy. The Langster himself.
the Langster.
Waluigi.
God, I love Waluigi.
Yeah,
Why
I think
though?
my favorite was that at one point they were considering in Mario Tennis to make a Waru Peachy, who would just be Peach with
wow.
with a mustache.
What?
Yeah.
Why,
So it'd be an
though?
evil Peach as
Okay,
well. as a evil
I'm here
Luigi.
for it.
I was
would
gonna
love
say though,
that.
here's the thing though. I heard that and I thought it was hilarious. I would have
Yeah.
loved that. It just there's an evil Peach, and what makes her evil? She has the same mustache as Waluigi and Wario. You know, like, it's the same Snidely Whiplash mustache.
Oh my god. So they could do an entire line of characters. Watoad,
Exactly.
Yoshi. But they all have to have the same mustache. This is the important thing.
I just want Wonky Kong.
Wonky Kong.
Wonky Wong. That'd be so much fun. Also, I remember as a kid finding out about Donkey Kong not being Donkey Kong. That
Yeah,
was
he was
still-
supposed to be. He was just supposed to be like Kong or something. Right? He was supposed to be King Kong, but like.
But as in, like, Donkey Kong, the character that we now know is Donkey Kong, not being the original Donkey Kong. Like, that's still so
Oh.
weird to me.
Oh, you mean because like he was originally the
that's
guy
his
from
dad.
Popeye, or like?
No, because
oh.
that's his dad. Like, the Donkey Kong from the arcade
the
game,
Nintendo lore runs
that's
deep.
that's Cranky Kong in Donkey Kong 64 and Donkey Kong Country and everything.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that. That's
The
awesome.
Donkey Kong that we now have, like the mature monkey, that's Donkey Kong Jr. grown up. I'm not shitting you. The
Oh, wow.
original Donkey Kong that kidnapped Pauline and everything, that's Cranky Kong. That's not the DK that we know.
Oh, so we can feel a little better about the DK that we know.
Yeah,
You know, he's-
and it
he's not
makes
as
more
big a
sense for
jerk.
him to be there in Mario Kart and everything. Okay, Bowser is too, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, but let's be honest. Bowser's just their friend who throws an elaborate play with them every weekend. It's
love
fine.
Bowser in the Paper Mario games because he's just such a doofus and
Exactly.
yeah.
I subscribe to the idea that Mario is just a giant play, and Bowser and Mario and Luigi and all of them are actually just friends.
I'm very happy
Aw.
to delude myself in this way. I think we talked about this. It's because I don't want the trauma of knowing that I'm killing Yoshis every time they
Oh,
die in
yeah.
Super Mario World.
Right. No, Yoshi's just backstage having a drink. It's
Yeah.
fine. Yoshi's back in the green room until he's needed again,
That's it.
along with
The
all of his
green
extended
room.
family, just in case.
Uh-huh.
So the green room is just Yoshi and Luigi and okay.
You know, the green room has
Koopas.
all the Yoshis in it, but
Yeah.
they're all upset because only the green Yoshi's represented. They're like,
Yeah.
well, what? So he was here first, so we don't get our own room?
Plot twist. Waluigi is just Luigi in a disguise.
Whoa.
What?
Yes.
No.
That's right. Listen, this is gonna blow your mind. He puts on
you just
a
wrinkled
fake
my brain.
mustache.
Wrinkled my brain. That's
Bad
amazing. They just
Luigi.
ran out of costumes one play and they were like, that's it. Luigi, you be the bad guy. Crap, they already know you. All right, we've got a mustache. You just use this. It's fine.
Listen, if it works for Superman,
Listen, I don't doubt Clark Kent as much as I used to anymore. Do you know
Yeah.
why? Because I've heard of Dolly Parton's method. Did you hear about that?
Parton's
No.
method.
Dolly Parton lives a relatively normal life outside of like being Dolly Parton because she wears a wig on stage and no one knows what she looks like in real life with her brown hair.
Oh, smart.
So she literally just gets to walk around like a normal person because no one knows what she really looks like because she wears a wig on
does
stage. And
help.
now I'm like, you know what? Superman's glasses don't seem that ridiculous anymore. Suddenly it makes sense. There's a real world example.
Actually, I have to say, like, the actor who plays Homelander in The Boys, whenever there's, like, pictures of him giving interviews, it's totally the Superman Clark Kent effect. Because, like,
yeah?
he's, like, this, of course, white supremacist, creepy-ass fascist in
Yep.
The Boys, and he looks like it. But then in real life, he's like this brown-haired New Zealand guy who wears glasses most of the time and has
Really?
like a stubble. So and he loves wearing like these knit caps. So whenever you see him giving an interview, it's just like this really cute, down-to-earth guy who looks nothing like Homelander.
Yeah, but my favorite thing was seeing that like they needed Homelander in the show to be taller, so they put him in massive heels. So like behind the scenes, he's like always laughing about it. Like he's got these giant like platform heel boots to like make him taller than the other actors. It's hilarious.
Weren't they doing similar shit with Tom Cruise?
Yeah, of course. Tom Cruise is really short.
Yeah.
Stallone too. They have to
There's
usually
boxes, they just
dig
use
holes
boxes,
under the
yeah.
feet of Stallone's love interests to make them shorter than him.
I do like that is changing. Like, for example, we now have a modern-day incarnation of Spider-Man whose girlfriend is taller.
Yeah.
I like that.
This is true, yeah.
I appreciate it too.
Absolutely.
But Stallone, I saw a picture of him recently, and like his neck has completely vanished.
Yeah, he doesn't have a neck anymore. He's been slowly removing it, you know, every year.
And salami slicing his own neck.
He's getting there. You know,
That's
he's
so
been working at
intense.
this for a while. He's been trying to grow shoulders big enough to remove his neck for a bit. He's almost there.
Every movie, he just slices off another millimeter or so. That's funny.
Yeah,
Well-
Stallone didn't want to have a neck. You know, he felt like it was not manly to have a neck. You know, it's a weak point. So.
Yeah, he's just like a square of muscle,
Yeah, that sounds about Stallone.
like a perfect, like 4 right-angled box
Yeah,
with a head.
that's true. Sounds about right. Well, curves are girly, Andrew. God.
Right. Oh yes. I wasn't even thinking
You
about
neck-having bastard.
that. Right.
Neck-possessing girly man.
All these colors. Makes me so happy.
Yeah. Really.
Oh, that's...
I was gonna say, where am I going?
Yeah.
Is there an elaborate story in this, or are they just like, nope, you're
No,
a
not at all.
jeweled-
Like, not
Nope.
even...
Collect cranes,
No.
do things. Where do I go next?
You gotta follow the cranes, Cal.
Is it up here?
Where the cranes at?
Where are the cranes at?
Okay, but I love this. I love that it's simple.
Yeah, it's just straightforward, good old-fashioned fun.
God damn it.
For the most part.
Straightforward, good old-fashioned fun as they fly off the board again.
To your doom.
Yep, that sounds about right. You know, it's super cool and fun. It's so great. Just good old-fashioned, super cool fun as I fall to my death. But no, it really is, like, it's so happy. And, like, the controls are tight, so, like, at least when you lose, like, you know it's your fault. It's not
It's like sugar without the carcinogenic effect.
that got
Yeah,
dark.
that's what I was thinking too. Totally like sugar without that carcinogenic effect.
That's definitely where my mind was going.
Yeah.
Damn it.
To be fair.
So
I
yeah,
did-
see, all of this is my fault, so you can hate me for it.
Oh, we are. Yeah.
Totally.
I'm aware. I'm just excusing it. You know, I'm taking the blame.
That's very big of you. We accept you taking the blame.
Thank you, thank you.
I love the complete lack of physics also.
Yeah, no, physics don't need to exist in video games, okay?
Wait, physics are a thing?
Yeah.
No
I'm
one
a
told me.
Firm believer that screw physics in video games.
Yeah, same.
Unless they're funny.
They need to make internal like sense, but that's it. They don't have to resonate with the real world in any way whatsoever.
I
Yeah.
appreciate
Consistent
everything that
in the
just
game.
happened.
What's that?
I said I appreciate everything that just happened. The
Yeah.
like water slide swirly thing.
Yeah, right? Like, it's kind of like they took inspiration from Mario, Sonic, all of them, and, like, just made their own thing.
Oh no, it gives you grades.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I suck. That's
It's
why I
great
know
at
that I
making you feel
suck.
bad about yourself, yeah.
Oh no. It seemed like such a happy-go-lucky game
Oh,
up
God,
until
no.
this moment, but now it's kind of like judging
It is,
you.
but now you know you're being judged on it.
Oh, that's terrible. Oh man, this is getting intense.
Yeah, right?
yeah,
like, I love
yeah.
the music, but, like, yeah, these beat sections are a little tougher, huh?
The level design is really, really
I
interesting.
mean, there's cookies. How can you top that?
you can't
It's
actually.
true.
I think
you just can't.
scientifically, I think cookies are the greatest confection
Right?
man has
Yeah.
ever managed to come up with.
That's fair, yes. I mean, I think a melted chocolate chip cookie could possibly be the greatest thing on the planet.
It's the one
It
thing
cures
America...
depression. It, like,
It does.
it's amazing.
Scientifically proven. Like,
Uh-huh. Totes. Invented in the United States
Chocolate chip
Of
cookies?
course it was.
in
Where
like the
else would it be invented?
1930s. The
Who
Toll
else
House
would look at
restaurant.
something
Yeah.
that was already sweet and think I've got it? Let me throw chocolate in this.
You know what this dessert needs? Another dessert inside of it.
Exactly.
Diabetes. We're gonna make this the diabestus. That's yeah. That's,
Exactly. The American motto in
Yeah.
one sentence.
Look, most of the time it's really just too much, but the chocolate chip cookie I think was the perfect combination of things.
Oh,
I got
yeah.
it totally right.
especially when you have like a cookie with like just this tiniest hint of salt. So you've got like that.
Yeah,
that-
well, you
that
gotta have a
tiny
little
bit of-
salt in your
You've got that
cookies. Yeah,
tiny
yeah,
bit
absolutely.
of savory in there, and then the chocolate. It's so good.
Absolutely.
Needs to be a bit crumbly, just really crumbly actually. Just crumble all the fucking way. Good stuff.
See, I prefer when they're like just out the oven and melted.
Ooh.
I will eat my cookie with a spoon. I don't care.
Oh, yeah.
I just want it to be melty.
See, I prefer a balanced experience where I want the inside to be mushy and the outside to be crunchy.
Ah,
I think this
okay. Oh,
gives
yeah.
you the broadest range of experiences.
You know
in every
what?
bite.
I will agree because, and I'll tell you why. I have had what I'm convinced are, I'm not sure if they're good cookies or if they were just fresh out the oven, but when I was in school, we used to make these cookies in the school store, right? We made them in droves because they disappeared every single period. So like,
good sign.
I mean, just trays and trays and trays of cookies, right? So they came out the oven so hot, if you tried to take them off the tray, they would just collapse, they would just melt. Some people took them that way and literally just took a spoon and left. But regardless, what I mean to say is that I have on occasion had one of those right after it had been sitting just long enough that the outside is crusted, but the inside is still goo.
Oof, yeah.
Oh my God, it was a heavenly experience. I don't know if there's anything I will ever think of as immediately when you ask me about dessert. But that is just the thing. That is the one. I have reached peak dessert,
Yeah.
and it's just over now. It's a
I think
little
you're
sad,
right. It's
honestly.
nothing but downhill from here.
Okay, but
Right,
I have to
like-
say, over at Dear Mama, they have a cookie dough cookie.
But what about your mom?
I'm sorry.
Sorry, what's up?
What?
Yeah, it's a cookie dough cookie. So it's like, it looks like a UFO, and
Nice.
it's like a cookie. It's like a crispy, amazing chocolate chip cookie, and it's filled with chocolate chip cookie dough,
Oh wow.
and it's complete overkill, but it's so good.
Cookie-ception.
It's so good. It's
Who
like,
doesn't want a raw cookie in a baked cookie?
Yo, dog, I heard you like cookies.
so I put a cookie in your yeah. Wait, I'm gonna grab a picture. You guys need to see
Sorry, I
this.
didn't fix any of the mechanical problems of the cookie, but I did put another cookie in.
And you can't sell it.
You can't sell the cookie's non-transferable, all right?
Hold on, let me film you and your excitement before I show you the cookie. Oh man, what a great / terrible show.
Right? Like the ideas were creative, and like I believe that they did a lot of work. It's just, man, like
Look at that.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you're gonna want to look at this.
And
oh my God,
this is
Yeah.
happening in the
Yeah.
Netherlands.
This is like a 5-minute bike ride away from here.
This
it looks like a pregnant cookie.
It pretty much is. Yeah, it's like yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's got another
on the
cookie
way to
inside of
becoming
it,
one.
which like, fair enough.
I'm looking for a picture of it being cut in half. 'cause
We need to stop distracting Cal. I think this is one jump.
I'm gonna try and make this graphic. I want to show you the innards of this cookie dough cookie.
I don't know if I'm comfortable with that.
You're gonna be. You're gonna have to be.
The cookie commentary is distracting, but that's okay.
This is seriously hard. Timing this.
Yeah, I'm realizing I have to look at the beat meter on the bottom
There's a bit.
and like make sure I jump on the off beat.
Ugh, so good. Look at these pictures all day.
I can also look at pictures of cookies all day.
Yeah,
actually.
right.
That's fair. There's one thing we can all agree on as like a human conglomerate, a human species, a human collective. Cookies, man. Damn.
Oh, that looks so satisfying.
Right? Like, it's one of those extremely satisfying videos, except it's just cookies, which is amazing.
But it doesn't need to be anything else.
No, you're absolutely right. Why would you
Again,
need
it's-
anything else when it's cookie themed?
Once
Then-
you have
oh, they
tasted
cut
a
it open.
cookie-
Look at.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well then, you can
So
just
good.
see how the center is
Yeah.
gooey and the outside is crispy.
It's so good. Honestly, I'd say it's still my favorite place for like vegan sweets and everything. So, am I gonna grab my bike in a couple of minutes, or
that
I mean,
might be what's happening.